Alright, I am back with another video, and today is finally the day! Solasta 2's early access has just launched as of today, the time I'm recording this. Don't know when this video will be out because this is very much a haphazard thing, but I really wanted to give it an exciting first look. As you all know, I have big plans for this game for the channel, so now I actually need to see if it is a good fit for this channel, but from what I'm seeing so far, like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. This is literally my first time booting up the game and seeing the title screen. I have no idea what lies beyond clicking the new adventure button, other than what little experience I have with the original Solasta, but I am very, very excited to bring this to you all today, so let's dive in. So this video is basically just going to be the kind of first impressions, just kind of seeing what I want from this game. It's not going to be too highly edited, so feel free to kick back, relax, and enjoy the show, but I might do some cuts here or there. So, which statement fits you best? I'm familiar with Solasta 1 or the 5e rule set, and I enjoy tactical challenges. I know the basics, but prefer a more slightly forgiving experience. I am new, or I want a smooth introduction. Well, I am very familiar with the 5e rule set, being a DM and player myself now, since I started this channel, so let's go for Authentic Mode. This mode applies the rules as written settings for the game. It is designed to offer a challenge for players comfortable with Solasta's systems. Absolutely. Might need to turn down the music, it's very loud! Oh my god, there's campaigns. Yes, I remember this. We only have one because it's early access. We're on difficult where you get the Authentic Mode difficulty. Hell yeah, wait. Oh yeah, I remember in the first Solasta game, people got to make their own campaigns. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this, aren't I? So, the first big difference from Solasta compared to Baldur's Gate 3, if you're not familiar with the games, is that you actually fully create your own party. There's not so many preset characters, or like your Astarions or your Karlachs or anything like that. You fully create 4 D&D characters to fill your party. Or you can create 1 or 2, and use the automatic fill party button down here to do the rest. So, let's create our first character, perhaps even make our first build. So you've got 3 options: quick creation, advanced creation, and select pre-made. So obviously there are going to be pre-made characters. Perhaps if you've ever played, I guess this would be the equivalent of Baldur's Gate 3's origin characters. Maybe it's also a bit closer to something from maybe Divinity Original Sin, those games. 1 and 2, soon to be 3. Let's go. So you kind of guess have origin characters. We can take a quick look at these, actually. So, you've got Leonor, Zoe, Eric, but Finiel. Elf names. Blaine and Jane. They rhyme. But anyways, yes, so you've got a few pre-select characters here. You can kind of see some of the classes that we're going to be working with, and they're all kind of your classics. You got your fighter, your rogue, your cleric, your wizard, your paladin, and your sorcerer. Oh, but I do see some interesting, what appears to be background options. So yeah, maybe we'll use one of these guys when I get further down the line. But for now, let's do advanced creation. You know what I'm about. Let's go all in. So, first up, we get to choose our class. Now, with the early access, we have access to 6, but they are the pretty much top contenders, I think, for this game. Anyway, let's have a look at Cleric. Frontline, healer, support, core ability is Wisdom, of course, we all know this. A D8 hit die, because yes, we're actually going to use hit die in this game. Oh, I love a game that's closer to the actual rules. As well as they have an intermediate complexity rating. I can see that. I mean, at the end of the day, you can heal bot a cleric, I guess, but, well, not that healing's always the best option, but usually they can get pretty complex, especially when you dive into the subclasses. So, your saving throws, charisma, and wisdom, obviously, you get your skill choices, so your skill proficiencies, history, insight, medicine, persuasion, religion, you get to choose 2, and also you get your light armor, medium armor, shield, and simple weapons. Now, I believe, yes, this is based off of the 2024 rules, so if you're more familiar with 2014, some things might be a bit new to you, so let's stay tuned as we go through with it. You're going to get some cantrips, you're also going to get your cleric weapon training, armor training, and spellcasting, And you get your pretty standard cleric starting equipment. You got a bit of gold, you can get a nice little light crossbow, you get a scroll of cure wounds, it's all nice. So with this, you also get to select your divine order, and this is one of the new things from 2024, if you're not familiar. This is not present in BG3, as that's also based on 2014. But basically, you can choose one of two divine orders to basically help you decide how you're going to play your cleric. First up is the Protector. You're going to gain training with martial weapons and heavy armor. So already, that's a pretty big buff for clerics to be able to just gain access to heavy armor right off the bat without having to choose a specific subclass, as well as gaining access to martial weapons. So that's going to be really, really fun to build with. We're also going to have Thaumaturge. You know, one extra cantrip from the cleric spell list, and in addition, your mystical connection to the divine gives you a bonus to your intelligence, arcana, and religion checks equal to your wisdom modifier. So basically, you get to choose if you want to be more of a frontline fighter, where it's a bit more tanky, or a bit of a better spellcaster and overall skill monkey, allowing you to use the two skills that you would kind of expect a cleric to be good at, arcana and religion, with your wisdom. So already that's kind of helping to bridge the gap, both flavor and roleplay-wise, as well as, you know, mechanically. Like, it's just, it's so good already. And we're only on the first feature of the first class. But yes, so you can choose Protector or Thaumaturge. I might go with Thaumaturge just to see. So yeah, that is level 1 of Cleric as far as that's concerned. Obviously, we can level up hopefully a bit later. Let's take a look at Fighter. I mean, this one's pretty simple, as the game has already laid out for us. They're considered a frontline striker character, so they kind of actually help, they give like all the classes little tags that kind of help you to realize if you're new to the game or new to the overall systems of D&D, what each class kind of fits into role-wise. Sometimes it's obvious, like with the fighter, they're a frontline striker. Strikers excel at dealing damage, and if you're a frontline, you're going to be in the front line of melee combat thanks to high hit points and armor class. So yeah, if you're just not 100% familiar with D&D, the game is actually really good at leading you into it, especially with its customizable difficulty options. So far, I'm only seeing pluses, which is really, really nice. Your saving throws are strength and constitution, as members of the channel already know. Members of the channel? No, that's a different thing. You know what I meant. People who watch this channel. You're going to get your 2 skill choices. You're going to get 2 from quite a long list, actually, which is really nice, including Intimidation and Persuasion. Very nice if you want to play a slightly more charisma-based fighter. You get to get your weapon masteries. Now, this is going to be one of the biggest changes from BG3 compared to the new 2024 rules. Weapon masteries basically allow you to have an additional ability when using a weapon that you have mastery over. You get to choose 3 weapon masteries with level 1 of fighter, meaning that they are one of the most versatile of weapons. If you've ever played a Battlemaster fighter in BG3, it's basically the Battlemaster maneuvers built into the weapons themselves. As long as you have weapon mastery, you can use these specific properties. For example, there's ones like Nick, Vex, Slow, Push, Cleave. They all do different things. Cleave will allow you to, if you hit a target, you can hit with an attack, you can hit another one that's within 5 feet, if I'm remembering that correctly. And if I remember rightly, the Nick action allows you to attack with an offhand weapon if it's light finesse as part of your action, which is great for dual wielding builds. Those are going to be very powerful in this. So yeah, weapon masteries just give so many people who are like the kind of martial classes, like just so much more to work with. So I absolutely love that this has made its way into Solasta. I think that's going to be very, very fun indeed. So, let's continue. Next up, with our armor and weapons, we obviously get access to bloody everything, that's fine, but you're also going to gain access to your fighter weapon training, meaning that you have all martial weapons, all the armor training, but also Second Wind, which got such a massive buff in 2024. You can use it twice, restoring a D10 plus class level, and you regain 1 expended use whenever you finish a short rest, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So fighters are actually really good at sustaining themselves, as I have learned with my own fighter in my own campaign. But anyways, you also get to choose your fighting style, and these are pretty much the same. I don't believe anything has changed here with this, so honestly, not too much to talk about here. So yeah, that is level 1 of fighter. Obviously, not too much has changed, but you will see when you actually play the game, or if you've played 2024 D&D, how much the weapon masteries really do improve the overall gameplay for melee fighters. I have a barbarian who's made very good use of the cleave weapon mastery in my own campaign, so I'm really looking forward to playing around with that. Now, it's time for a controversial one. Paladins. Paladins in 2024 are going to be a bit weird. Everyone here from 2014 and BG3 just knows smite, smite, and more smite. That's not really a thing anymore. Smite is now a spell, not an action, meaning that you're not going to be extra attacking off of it, as well as the fact that it costs your bonus action to use now as well. So I guess while you still can extra attack, because I think you do make a weapon attack as part of the smite, you can't smite twice in a single turn. Unless you somehow have access to a second bonus action, you can't smite more than once, which I think a lot of people are going to not like. And I ended up changing that rule a little bit in my homebrew rules for my campaign, so maybe the game has some sort of customization, or maybe people will mod it so that you can kind of change that about, restoring the old smite. You'll have to see what your preference is going to be depending on what you play. But otherwise, Paladins, they're still your big boys who sit on the front line. They can tank, they can heal, and they can hit pretty damn hard when they want to. Paladins are still really good. You're just not going to be smiting everything so much. In fact, dual-wielding paladins are kind of the new thing in 2024, so maybe we'll have to take a look at that. So, you're going to gain access to a few more skills of your choice, obviously, like athletics, insight, intimidation, all the usual stuff. You're going to get 2 weapon mastery choices. Again, love that for us. And then, obviously, all your typical armor and weapons. However, you're also going to get your Paladin spellcasting right away at level 1, which is awesome, that we don't have to wait till level 2 for that now. We're also going to get the ability to remove a poison status from the target by using our Lay on Hands feature. Like, there's so much cool new things for Paladin here. I'm going to try and speed this video up a little bit, because I know I'm just going to spend forever talking about just the classes. But obviously, Paladins now are just so fun. Yeah, you get 2 spells from the Paladin spell list, so you get to start your Paladin spellcasting right away. And the earlier you get those spell slots, the better it's going to be for multiclassing. So Paladin might actually be a little more multiclass friendly, which is weird to say. Next up is Rogue, considered a striker support type, which I can see. They are considered simple. I might disagree with that one game. I think they're at least an intermediate, because it's not just about how you play a rogue in combat, which yes, can just be sneak attack, sneak attack, sneak attack. You also have to focus on the stealth aspect as well, and the outside roleplay potential that rogues come with, which maybe isn't so much of a big deal in this game compared to actual tabletop, but But anyways, you're going to gain access to all of these amazing skill choices, although I am noticing it says you only get to choose 1. That's meant to say 4, right? Hoping that's a bug that will get fixed. Also, you get your expertise, which is awesome. You get your thieves' tools, light armor, you get simple weapons, but now we also get martial weapons that are finesse or light. So the category is technically broadened a little bit, because this can leave room for people to actually have weapons that are finesse or light that wouldn't normally be so in different categories, and technically you would be proficient with them, which I think is kind of fun. We also have Rogue. We have all the usual stuff, like your Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack is a bit different now. It starts off the same, but later on, when you level Rogue, you can actually trade out damage die of Sneak Attack, not all of them at once, but some of it, to do different things like poison or trip up your foes and such. So you get a little bit of extra with Sneak Attack now, which is kind of nice. We actually do get Thieves' Cant as a language in this game, meaning that that's actually going to be important to have different languages, which is freaking awesome. I love that. We also get to choose another language from our class as well, which is amazing. And we've also got the pretty standard starter gear for Rogue, which is nice. So yeah, Rogues are going to be pretty much the same as they were before, but they are going to get a few more tricks that they normally wouldn't have access to in older rules later on. Sorcerer, the only advanced class in early access. That's interesting. It's considered a striker and a support. Yeah, I can see that. They're excellent at dealing damage, and they're definitely going to have a lot of skills, especially when they get into meta magic with twinned stuff, that's really going to allow them to shine. I will say meta magic is a little bit different now with how the action economy works compared to the old rules. There's things like magic actions and such like that, and like there's a limit on like what Quicken Spell can do, but we can get more into that once the actual rule set is a bit more clear as we progress the game, I suppose. So, yeah, you're going to have your Constitution and Charisma saving throws, your typical skill choices, simple weapons, your cantrips, your spells. Nothing's really changing here for Sorcerer, so I won't linger on it for too long. However, we are going to get the innate sorcery feature. In the following benefit for 1 minute with your sorcerer spells, you can gain advantage on attack rolls, or gain a +1 bonus to your spell save DC. You can use this bonus action twice per long rest. So yeah, you get this feature, you activate it as a bonus action, and then you gain advantage on your attack rolls and +1 to your spell save DC. Just kind of putting it in line that sorcerers really are one of the most powerful innate spellcasters, which I really, really love. Sorcerer actually got some massive buffs in 2024, especially the Draconic Sorcery subclass. I really want to try that one out, so I'm really looking forward to playing with that a bit. And finally, Wizard. Intermediate. Again, I might argue against that one, because while you only have to focus on intelligence, you are a striker support very similar to the sorcerer, you do have to focus on your spellbook stuff, which I feel like adds a lot more depth to the wizard, especially because they have the largest spell list as well. I kind of think they would lean into being the same difficulty as the sorcerer, being advanced, but maybe that's just me. You're going to get your skill choices, your simple weapons, your cantrips, and 6 level 1 spells. So yeah, you're just going to get 6 level 1 spells right off the bat, which is awesome. You get your weapons training, simple weapons, your spell casting. We all know this is the exact same as the old rules for pretty much. You're going to get your 3 wizard cantrips. Perfect, no notes. But then you're also going to get the Ritual Adept feature, allowing you to cast any spell as a ritual if that spell is in your spellbook and has the ritual tag. You don't need to have that spell prepared. So now you can cast any ritual as a ritual without it having to take up space in your spellbook, which is very, very nice. I like that a lot. So yeah, that is the level 1 for all of the 6 classes available in early access. Overall, not much has changed right from level 1, and unfortunately in early access we can only go as high as level 4, so we're not really going to be able to explore it too much in this video. I might do some extra videos or live streams showcasing the kind of overall gameplay and what each class looks like at level 4, and so we can like start talking about subclasses and such like that. Hopefully there's an easy respec option as well in this game that I can play with a little bit, but for now, for this early introduction video, as I'm trying to ride the wave of the early access release, this is kind of what we're looking at here. And honestly, I think this alone is already going to make this game a pretty good fit for this channel. I'm already seeing the amount of creative freedom I'm going to be able to have with builds just from the new features even added at level 1, and the fact that I kind of know what's coming up as well, as I am a 2024 rules player and DM. So this is quite exciting. But for our first ever character, I think we just got to build a fighter, so I can really show you what's up with fighting. And we're going to go with great weapon fighting. Let's move on. Next up, we get to choose our Ancestry. We have 4 of these species from 2024 available in the game as of the early access. We have the human, the halfling, the elf, and the dwarf. I'm just going to go for John Fighterman to kind of show you what the human is capable of, because it's actually got some new things if you didn't know, but we'll have a look at all of them very quickly. We get to choose any skill that we like from our as a proficiency, which is awesome. You're going to gain access to heroic inspiration from the resourceful feature. So the new way that inspiration works in 2024 is you can still have it be granted to you by the DM, like normal, but certain classes, features, species features, etc. will actually give you inspiration now, called heroic inspiration. And the main way of getting it, the easiest way, is through a human. You gain heroic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. When you fail an attack roll or saving throw, you can spend a roll of your heroic inspiration to re-roll the dice and use the new roll. So yeah, you're just going to get this heroic inspiration every long rest, which can really save you. It's actually a nice thing for humans to have. We already know about the skillful feature, and we're also going to get the versatile feature now. This is where people, I think, are really going to love humans and build making, because we're going to gain access to an origin feat of our choosing. So whenever you make a character in 2024, we'll get to this in a little bit with the background, you're also going to get an origin feat that comes with your background. But if you play a human, you get to choose an additional origin feat in addition to the one that comes from your background. Backgrounds are going to be one of the biggest changes for build making compared to Baldur's Gate 3, as they are pretty much core to how the character is going to play from level 1 and even for the rest of the game. So having access to a second origin feat is awesome. You're going to get access to common and another 2 languages of your choice. Now, I will look at this in a bit more detail in a moment. Let's see what dwarves got going for them. So, now, a big thing about the new rules is that even if you're playing as a smaller race, you're not going to have a penalty to your movement speed. So everyone's 30 feet by default, which is nice. You're going to gain dark vision, so you get to see out of a distance of 60 feet. You're going to be getting Dwarven Resilience, giving you resistance to poison damage, and having advantage on saving throws to avoid around the poison condition. You're going to have Dwarven Toughness, giving you an extra hit point for every level you gain, which is awesome. And Stone Cunning. You gain the Tremor Sense for 10 minutes. You gain Tremor Sense, which allows you to pinpoint the locations of creatures within a distance of 60 feet, provided that you are all within contact on the same stone surface. And you can use it as a bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. So yeah, you kind of get a bit of like radar sense, I guess, which is actually kind of cool. I think that's just in this game, though. I don't remember that from the 2024 rules. I might be wrong. For elves, they're your standard, pretty people. We all know how this goes. You get an extra skill proficiency. You're going to get your standard dark vision. You're going to get Fey Ancestry, giving you advantage on saving throws against being charmed or to end the charm condition. We have the Keen Senses feature, giving you proficiency in insight, perception, or survival. So you get to choose one of those. And the trance. And this is actually included in this game. The elven trance is more than just a flavor thing. It's actually something that you get to use. Magic cannot put you to sleep, and you retain consciousness during long rests. We did have the sleep preventative thing in Baldur's Gate 3, but actually retaining consciousness during long rests is going to matter in this game, which is awesome. Resting is even more important than it is in BG3. And obviously, you get all your typical languages, but you also get to choose your elven lineage. You can go for High Elf, giving you the Firebolt cantrip, and whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace that cantrip with a different cantrip from the wizard spell list. So you're just going to get access to all of the wizard cantrips. You get to choose which one per long rest. That's actually amazing. You're also going to know the Longstrider and Misty Step spells are level 3 and 5 respectively. And then there's the Sylvan Elf, which is effectively the Wood Elf. Your speed increases to 35 feet, and you know the Venomous Spike cantrip. Ooh. It's new. You learn you also get Expeditious Retreat and Protection from Poison in your spell list as well. I would probably say High Elf is better, but getting that little bit of extra on top of the movement speed with that new Venomous Spike, which I'm very interested in, is actually very cool. So yeah, now we have Halfling. Halflings get a lot. You're going to get Bravery, meaning that you have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the frightened condition. You're going to get your Halfling Nimbleness, allowing you to move through a space of any creature that is a size larger than you, but you cannot stop in the same space. So there's going to be a little bit less movement shenanigans with these guys, which is fun. You obviously get your Halfling Luck, allowing you to, whenever you roll a 1 on a d20 test, so that's any roll that involves a d20, you can reroll the die and use the new roll, which is awesome. So you're basically safe from critical fails, which is amazing. And then finally, you're naturally stealthy, which just basically means that you can take the hide action even when you are obscured only by a creature that is at least one size larger than you. So yes, you can hide behind the big bulky paladin and then, just not be seen, which is very, very fun. But yes, we're going to play as human. But let's actually go over to the background first and talk about the backgrounds, because this is going to be one of the biggest changes to this game's build system compared to Baldur's Gate 3. So in Baldur's Gate 3, when I make a build, I usually say, oh yeah, just pick whatever background you want, it only affects your skill proficiencies, doesn't really matter, oh, and your inspiration. Nah, this is important now. So rather than your racial choice determining what ability scores you kind of get a buff in, I mean, in BG3, you just got to put them into anything as per Tasha's custom rules, but now you actually have to pick the correct background to give you the correct ability score improvements as well as an origin feat, which definitely is the biggest change as to how build making is going to go. But however, there are a lot of backgrounds to choose from, including some new ones that the game has added, so it shouldn't be too restrictive. In fact, it might actually encourage more build creativity, which I'm all about. So let's talk about each of the backgrounds. First up, the Academic. It gives you the ability to improve either your dexterity, constitution, or intelligence. And it's the same as before. You can either increase you can basically have 3 points to increase up to 3 different ability scores. So it's actually slightly different than BG3. You don't have to do like the +2, +1. You actually get to do 3 into any. But each score can only be increased by 2 points max. Same as the original. So overall, it's kind of the same deal, question mark. But basically, yeah, you just have to pick between the 3 ability scores that is chosen rather than just being able to pick any. Again, most people see that as restricting build making, which it kind of does, but I just see it as, giving me an excuse to be more creative, especially with the lore side of things. Like, how is the Academic able to, wield a sword so well, I guess. But yes, anyways, moving on. So with the academic, you get to choose to buff your dexterity, constitution, or intelligence. It actually gives you a recommended personality, which I'll get into in a minute. It will give you the arcana and history skills right off the bat, as well as the tool proficiency in crafting. You'll gain proficiency in a tool type, allows you to add your proficiency bonus to any ability checks you make while involving this type of tool. So yeah, tool proficiency actually matters in this game outside of Thieves' Tools, which is something else. Now, our origin feat, Magic Initiate Wizard. Initiate. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the wizard spell list. Yeah, I know, that's already amazing. These cantrips will use the best of your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma as your spell casting ability. You can also choose a level 1 spell from the wizard spell list, which is always prepared, and you can cast it once without a spell slot per long rest, while also being able to cast it with any spell slots you have. That's awesome. Any character can be a spellcaster with this, which is really, really nice, and it's going to give us a lot of flavour in terms of how we're able to do things. And again, this is a feat. We could select this as human too, so we can really get into some creative and wacky builds with that, especially since we're not tied to using our intelligence for this, despite the fact that it's a wizard-based feat. Oh, that's going to be so fun. You also get some equipment, a letter from the Dean, and a component pouch, so just stuff that's related to your backstory. But this is going to be basically our spell focus, because yes, we have to think about spell focuses now. Oh baby, this is going to be fun. The Acolyte, this is your typical religion one. Constitution, intelligence, and wisdom. You're going to get your religion and medicine skills. You're also going to get access to your herbalism kit as your tool proficiency. And of course, Magic Initiate Cleric. Same as the wizard one, but you get to choose your spell and cantrips from the cleric spell list instead. Again, that's really good. That's guidance. Do I need to say more? Although it's probably going to be a bit more restrictive in this game than in Baldur's Gate 3. The Aristocrat, Strength, Constitution, and Charisma, Insight and Persuasion, and the Skilled feat, giving you 3 skills or tool proficiencies of your choice. Skill Monkey builds are going to be better than ever than this, because yes, you can take the Skilled feat twice, or as many times as you like. So right off the bat, with an Aristocrat human, you get 6 skill proficiencies. Add that to a rogue. I'm just saying, we might make that in today's video. The Artist. This allows you to improve dexterity, wisdom, or charisma. You gain insight and performance, as well as the skilled feat as well. Very nice. The Ascetic allows you to buff your dexterity, constitution, or wisdom. You get nature and acrobatics, the herbalism kit, and a new origin feature that I don't recognize. This is new to the game, called Robust. Let's read it. Your HP increases by an amount equal to your character level when you gain this feat. Whenever you gain a character level thereafter, your maximum HP is increased by an additional 1 HP. Okay, so a bit similar to Tough. Whenever you use a hit die to regain HP, roll twice and keep the highest result. That's really cool, actually. That's cool with the new hit, with the fact that we actually have to use our hit die now. If you become stable while unconscious at 0 HP, you immediately regain 1 HP. Yeah, so you're just a very, very tough person. I wonder if this is just a remake of Tough. We'll have to see. The Lawkeeper, Strength, Constitution, and Wisdom, Investigation and Perception, and a new origin feat called Vigilant. You gain sharp senses, gaining proficiency in perception. If you're already proficient, you gain expertise. Nice. And being surprised does not impose disadvantage on your initiative roll. Okay. Not my favourite, but I like the flavour of it. I like that a bit. Low Life, Strength, Dexterity, and Charisma. I can see myself having to use this one a lot, just based on those ability schools alone. Anything with Charisma, I feel. Sleight of Hand and Stealth, and Thieves' Tools. Oh yeah, we're using this one a lot. The origin feat, of course, is Quick. Your speed is increased by 5 feet, and opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you, so it's mobile. Just a bit. Occultist, Dexterity, Constitution, and Charisma. Could see myself using this one as well. You gain Medicine and Deception. Ooh, that's an interesting combo. You also get the Scroll Kit proficiency. Interesting. And Magic Initiate Wizard. The Philosopher, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma, History and Persuasion, the Herbalism Kit, and the Origin feat Skilled. The Sellsword, I'm just rapid-firing these. Strength, Constitution, and Intelligence. I like that. Intimidation and Athletics. Interesting that we don't get to buff charisma, but we get intimidation. Okay, we'll see how that goes. And the origin feat, ready for war. You gain proficiency with light armor, shields, and all martial weapons. As much as I love the idea of being a cell sword, this seems like it might not be one that gets used very often, but I can see this maybe making a weird Spellblade build. Maybe, not sure. We'll have to come back to this one. I definitely think once the game is a bit more ready for build making and my actual full videos, I will definitely be doing a one build of every background video, like kind of video series for sure. But anyways, the Spy, dexterity, intelligence, and charisma. I like that. Perception and deception. I like that it rhymes. The herbalism kit once again, and the vigilant feat. It had to be vigilant. I mean, vigilant will probably be okay. I mean, but then we already get it from the background, so we're just always going to have expertise. Yeah. No, this might not be my favorite, actually. And finally, the Wanderer. Strength, dexterity, and constitution. You're going to get animal handling and survival. The herbalism kit, which I'm seeing a lot here. And the Savage Attacker origin feat. Once per turn, when you hit a target with a weapon, you can roll the weapon's damage die twice and use the best rolls. So, already I'm noticing a bit of a difference from the 2024 rules. There's no lucky origin feat to be found anywhere. Again, this is early access, might just not be implemented, but I mean, yeah, you got lucky as an origin feat in the tabletop, so I don't know, this one's a bit odd. I guess for a background for, I guess, what is going to be John Fighterman, we could just go for perhaps the Lawkeeper, maybe? The Lowlife. I kind of like the idea of maybe starting at, like, they started out as, like, kind of a, you know, a slum rat or something. They're like a, you know, like a gutter rat. Is that the word? I don't know. They were very poor, bless their hearts. But then trained and became a proper fighter, Knight of the Realm, something like that. But they never quite forgot their origins. So we're going to get a bit of extra movement speed. Opportunity attacks will be a bit trickier against us. We're going to get all this extra stuff. Sure, we're just going to blow through this quite quick. But now we can have a look at the other origin features, which we already have access to. I might just pick Magic Initiate Cleric and see if we can get something from that a bit later. Now, ability scores. Again, pretty much the same. There's an automatic button for the game to give you what it thinks will be best. Obviously, though, it has immediately opted to give us a 17 in strength. Let's bump that down. We have got a +2 modifier there. So we've got the 16 in strength and dexterity. I would probably say we can put dexterity on the lower end. Bump that up to, let's say, here. And then where does it put our points into from our background? I'm curious. So we've got 14, 12, 14, 14. So yeah, probably not, yeah, modifier 2. Right, okay, so that's the full base score. Right, I just need to get used to the UI here. I see, okay. So I could probably bump down intelligence, maybe? Bump down charisma? Where on earth has it put our points? Oh god, I'm going to have to learn to navigate this menu. Right. But, yeah, so this is kind of what the game will do for you. You can reset it as well. How do you select what you want your background to be? Ooh, hold on, I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure this out. Let's do a strength, since we're doing great weapon fighting. Let's do a little bit of dexterity. Let's pump a bit of constitution and some charisma. Maybe we'll go for some wisdom on the side. Maybe put a 13 to our charisma. Ah, and here's the menu. I see. There we go. Now it all makes sense. I see. So then you go back here. Right, this makes more sense to me. I now understand how this works. Right, I get it. I see. This makes sense now. There we go. That is a slightly more well-rounded character. Perfect. Oh, okay, if I click next, it would have shown me. Right, now you get to choose your skill proficiencies. It already tells you what each modifier you have in each of them is. Notably, I'm not seeing everything here, but obviously that's because this is just from our class. We can go for, let's grab a bit of athletics and a bit of intimidation, why not? We get to choose our weapon masteries, so we can actually have a look at these now. It's a good thing I decided to start with fighter. So, Battle Axe. This will give you the topple weapon mastery. If you hit a creature with this weapon, you can force the creature to make a con save, which is DC 8 plus the ability modifier used to make the attack roll, and your proficiency bonus, so in our case, probably strength. On a failed save, the creature will have the prone condition, which means they're knocked on the floor. We all know how the prone condition works. The club will grant slow. If you hit and deal damage to a creature with this weapon, you can reduce its speed by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. If the creature is hit more than once by weapons that have this property, the speed reduction doesn't exceed 10 feet. So basically, you just get to reduce someone's movement speed. Probably not my favourite, but I still kind of like the fact that it exists. The Nick weapon mastery, which is going to be the cornerstone of a lot of builds. When you perform the extra attack granted to you by your light weapon property, so that means that you can wield it in your offhand, you can do it as part of the attack action instead of as a bonus action. You can only perform this extra action once per turn. So yeah, in the 2024 rules, if you're dual wielding weapons with the Nick weapon mastering, say you're dual wielding daggers in this case, you can attack as basically with extra attack and keep your bonus action, even though you're dual wielding. This stacks with extra attack, meaning the dual wielders are attacking 3 times in a turn with extra attack, as using only their action. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Dart weapon mastery, which is cool. We get darts in this game, which has the Vex property. If you hit and deal damage to a creature with this weapon, you'll have advantage on your next attack roll against a creature before the end of your next turn. So yeah, Vex comes with a consistent source of advantage. Paladins, fighters, but we're all gonna love that. The Great Axe comes with Cleave. If you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack roll using this weapon, you can perform a second melee attack against another creature within your reach and within 5 feet of the first. You don't add your ability modifier to this second attack roll. But yeah, you actually get to make 2 attacks as long as there are enemies that are grouped up next to each other. Gonna be very, very fun for tank builds that can somehow draw aggro. Greatsword has the Graze property. If your attack roll with this weapon misses a creature, you can deal damage to that creature equal to the ability modifier used to make the attack roll. But damage is the same type dealt by the weapon, and can only be increased by increasing the ability modifier. So if you're attacking with a Graze weapon, you basically never miss, you just do less damage. You're either doing a roll plus your ability modifier, or you're just doing your ability modifier at all times. It's amazing for sustained damage. The hand crossbow comes with Vex, the hand axe also comes with Vex, the heavy crossbow comes with Push. We haven't seen Push yet. If you hit a creature with this weapon, you can push it up to 10 feet away from you, if it is large or smaller. And I believe that is all of the different weapon masteries. Look, even the light hammers get Nick. You could be a dual-wielding hammer dwarf. That's amazing, I love it. But yeah, the Sap weapon mastery from the longsword. If you hit a creature with this weapon, that creature will have disadvantage on its next attack roll before the start of your next turn. So, one lets us impose advantage for ourselves, and one lets us impose disadvantage on the enemy. Very nice. And yes, I do believe that is all of the different weapon masteries. As you can see, as I scroll through, each weapon has its own, and you get to choose which ones you want, which is awesome. We'll do my favourite, the long sword. I'll also grab the great sword, as well as... let's grab a battle axe for that good old cleave. Next up, we get to choose another skill-related ability from our human ancestry, and of course we gain access to any that we like. We'll grab persuasion. And then finally, another couple of extra languages of our choice. Let's grab Dwarvish and Elvish, just the common ones. Now, we get to select our cantrips to learn from Magic Initiate Cleric. We have Dazzle. I was not expecting Dazzle. Oh, I can't wait to dazzle people. No, literally. The target becomes dazzled. They can't take reactions until the start of their next turn, can be negated by a dex save. Activated as a bonus action? Immediately a bonus action cantrip that can negate reactions? That's kinda cool. Divine Shield. Grants the target 1d8 temporary hit points until the start of your next turn. Whoa, that's sick. That one's an action, though. That is cool, though. Oh, I can't wait to look at the spellcasting later. Guidance, there it is. It acts as an action and does use your concentration, but you get to add 1d4 to the target's ability checks for up to a minute. There we go. Holy Conduit. On a hit, deals 1d6 radiant damage. The target and each enemy within 5 feet of it also take 1d4 radiant damage. Damn, these are cantrips? This can be... the additional damage can be negated by a con save. Okay. Light cantrip, probably going to be more useful in this game, actually. Sacred Flame, the classic, we all know what this does. Resistance and Spare the Dying. Oh god, this cantrip's here, is it? For those of you that don't know, Spare the Dying is one of the more useless cantrips in tabletop. I'm not gonna lie. I had it on a character once that was a warlock, and I deleted it off the character sheet after I kept getting so frustrated with it. So, I definitely want to dazzle people. And I really... Oh, guidance. It's gotta be, surely. And then also we get to choose our spells, but I'm really interested to see what comes up here. Bane, yeah, we all know Bane, subtracting 1d4, nice. Bless, same as always. Cure Wounds, yep. Guiding Bolt, Healing Word, Protection from Good and Evil, Inflict Wounds, and Shield of Faith. Yeah, all the classics. I like the idea of a fighter with Shield of Faith, though. I'm gonna go with that. So yeah, now, here is the fun part. We get to choose our actual custom character creation thingy, and it comes with a lot of options considering this is early access. We get to choose our body shape, obviously. Nothing wrong there. Totally normal. No one's going to be weird about it being called body shape, surely. Anyways, head presets. So you actually get to go for completely custom values. You can completely customize the heads. Here's just an example of some of them that you will see throughout the game. As you can see, not really any restrictions on what head fits on what, which is brilliant. And you also kind of get to change, like, for different blends to really create interesting, good-looking characters. I think you'll be able to make some interesting stuff with this. I'm not going to spend too long on this. You get your skin presets. You can kind of choose your skin color. Nothing crazy. I'm pretty sure everyone kind of understands how character creators work now. You also get to choose... You just get a bunch of different options. You get very specific kind of facial stuff. Looks like your wrinkles, your freckles. In fact, I would say this is a lot more in-depth than BG3's character creator, even. I'm going to be able to make some good-looking people with this, so I hope you look forward to that. The hair options. Oh, now this is important. We've got to see the hair options. Ooh. There's some pretty decent ones in here, actually. I kind of like this one the most, actually, to be fair. It's kind of like my default, I'd say. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good ones here, actually. Oh, there you go. You got your nice kind of spick and span hair. I kind of like that for John Feiterman. In fact, I am on... Yeah, there we go. I'm just checking. There we go. I was making sure I actually am on John Feiterman and I'm not accidentally being being a bit insensitive, but that's okay. Oh, we get beards. Oh, beards are super important, because I was actually somewhat disappointed by the beard choices in BG3 by default. Oh, I'm seeing some good beards. There are some decent beards in this. Yes, there's some decent beards. Yes, I like that. I like my beards. I like my beards a lot. Hang on, I want to make him slightly more gruff. I want to make John Feiterman a bit more rough looking. We can go for scars. Yes, a big old scar across the cheek. Let's get some wrinkles in there. Just make him look a bit older. Yes, there we go. Got some eye colours. Yeah, John Feiterman's here to fight. We got some makeup on. I don't think we need makeup on, do we? I don't know. You'd be surprised actually how much I use makeup in BG3 on like a lot of characters, because you'd be surprised just how that little bit of darkness around the eyes really kind of brings out a lot of characters. It works really well. Yeah, alright, John Feiterman's getting there. Here's John. If I learn how to spell John. And I can't change the last name, interestingly. Now, here's where this is the big difference for how roleplay is going to work, because this is actually built like a D&D character. Again, you're not really having as many like preset origin characters compared to, let's say, Baldur's Gate 3, but you do get to choose each character's personality, their pronouns, and their voice type. So we can just have a look here.
You must need help with something. Hello. Nice to meet you.
I like that. But yeah, basically you get to choose your kind of personality and how your character will interact with other NPCs and react in different situations. So let's have a look. The caregiver is enthusiastic, optimistic, light-hearted, and helpful. We have the everyman, who is a team player friendly and somewhat bland. The hero, who is exalted, passionate, eager, and sometimes a bit too much. Innocent, who is cautious, discreet, soft-spoken, and conflict avoidant. The jester. They're the bard. Outlaw is non-conformist, ambitious, somewhat greedy, and even aggressive. The ruler is pragmatic, short-spoken, and even seemingly a bit cold. And sage is curious, even nosy, talkative, and curious about everything. We said curious twice. But yes, all of these are basically just going to dictate how your character is going to be treating each situation as it comes, which I think is kind of cool. But again, we're John Fighterman. We're definitely a hero. I don't know why it's not letting me change the last name. That's interesting. But yes, there you go. We can save our appearance now as John Fighterman, the fighter, with all of this guff. Yeah, that was just level 1. Level 1 is way more front-loaded compared to even BG3 in a sense, which means we're going to be here quite a lot in the future. But that is our first character. We're actually just going to select a pre-made. Actually, I do want to go for Zoe. Let's grab Zoe, but then we are going to edit Zoe a little bit. So Zoe's going to be our halfling rogue, and I want to... Actually, can I... Oh, it's not going to let me go too specific. Okay, so we want to be a rogue. And I don't want to be a spy. I want to be a... Not a philosopher. Where is the other one that had the skill feature? Yeah, a rogue artist sounds kind of cool. Actually, it doesn't look like it's going to let me change the pre-made that much, so we're actually going to bin you. Sorry, Zoe. I want to see if this works the way I think it does. Right, we're just doing a quick build check. For first ever Solasta 2 build, only 1 level. Let's go. We're going to play as a rogue with the halfling ancestry. We're going to play as the... Actually, I kind of like the idea of going for aristocrat a bit more. We're going to put up our charisma quite a bit. Want a bit of wisdom, a bit of intelligence, a bit of dexterity, and a bit of constitution. We can dump strength for now. And then we get to choose the next part, which is going to be, we can bump up our... Oh, okay, maybe not the aristocrat. What about the artist? Artist might work better. It's going to give us insight and performance. Okay. So yeah, then we're going to want to go for... Can we bump you up by 2? Yes, we can. We can bump you up by 1 to potentially bump you up even higher later. And now, here we go. So we do get to choose our 4. That was just an error on the other menu. So we're already getting insights. Let's grab intimidation, persuasion, perception, investigation. Yes, I like this a lot. And now we get to choose our expertise. Let's go for perhaps intimidation and persuasion. Again, I'm just clicking through this quick. We're going to get another language. Let's grab something a bit exotic. Let's grab orc. We also get to select our weapon masteries. Obviously, we'll take the classic, the dagger, because I feel like dual-wielding daggers will be pretty fun. We'll also grab a rapier proficiency. We're going to get another language, so let's go for that, because it's from our halfling ancestry. Of course, we're going to take halfling as 1, and we'll speak to the other short people as well. And now we get to choose even more skill proficiencies from the skilled feat. So let's grab deception. Oh no, I wasn't going to pick halfling, was I? I was going to pick... Wait, I promise, I'm doing this correctly. We're going to go for versatile. No, it doesn't let you take it if you already have it. Boo! Boo, game. That is bull honky. Oh no, one of my first build ideas just went out the window. No. Well, when they add warlock, we'll be able to get it that way. So they don't let you stack the skilled feat in this game. That's a bit lame, Solasta. Come on, can we change that for the full release of the game, please? Thank you. That's going to be my first ticket I submit, god damn it. But yeah, there you go. So we tested out another build. Let's grab another pre-made. Let's grab Jane the sorcerer, and let's grab a cleric. Let's see how effective healing is here. All right, start adventure. Ooh, I'm so excited. Just got to process some shaders, and then we're in. But yeah, that's level 1 so far. Looking pretty good. The overall first impressions are strong. How long have I been recording for? 47 minutes. Oh no! You know, maybe I'll split this into multiple videos, actually. Wait, hang on. How do I pause a cutscene in this game? I figured out how to pause a cutscene in this game. As to not keep this video too long, I will be doing, let's just say, maybe a series of first impressions videos on Solasta. This first video that we've managed to do today is our... initial readings of what character creation is going to be like, which I'm very, very excited for. And then, as I do a few more videos, I'll kind of look at the overall gameplay, comparing it to BG3, as well as looking at how the level up system is going to work, etc, etc. So expect some more Solasta 2 videos sprinkled out here and there. This was a bit haphazard, but again, I just kind of wanted to get something out there to kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be working with in terms of, you know, this game. It's not letting me save for now. I'll figure that out in a minute. But also, you know, just letting you guys know exactly why you should be excited to see this game on this channel. Now, hopefully, updates will be pretty frequent. Obviously, I'm not really going to be able to do full build making here, but I will be able to do some like class showcases, some ability showcases, some combat showcases and such, just to show how everything interacts. And I'm really, really looking forward to working with this game on the channel, so I hope you guys stick around for Solasta 2 content. I think it's going to be a real fun ride. I think it's just going to be a big new perspective for the channel, so I hope you'll stick with me on this one. But yeah, that is going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.